Spiker Surf coming at you from the United Sports Center, Sports Arena in Pasig City. Feel free to come and join us if you're around the area and enjoy the best of men's volleyball here in the Philippines. Ako po si Paul de Rosario alongside Josh Yoson. Dennis Valdez Sancho joins us on sidelines.
Mic test 1, 2, 3. Yos, mic test 1, 2, 3.
Sound check, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Sound check. What was a marathon is now a sprint. We're now down to our last day of the Invitational Conference before we move on and settle before the next phase. Some will leave, some will move on. Here where power meets passion. Welcome to Spiker's Turf. We're down to our last few days. We're down to our last few days of this Invitational Conference, and there's still a lot to settle before the next phase. What was a marathon is now a sprint. Now down to our last day of this Invitational Conference before we settle and move on to the next phase. Some will leave, some will move on. Here where power meets passion. Welcome to the Spiker's Turf. Down to our last final days of this Invitational Conference before we move on and settle for our next phase. Some will leave, some will move on. Here where power meets passion. Welcome to the Spiker's Turf. Last few days of this Invitational Conference before we settle to the next phase. Some will leave, some will move on. Here where power meets passion. Welcome to the Spiker's Turf.
And we are back to United Sports Arena in Pasig City for another edition of the 2024 Spiker's Turf Invitational Conference, coming to you live from Pilipinas Live, One Sports and One Sports Plus. A triple header with playoff implications, each and every game important for their respective sides. The SAVOUGE Aesthetic Spin Doctors in particular in the first game need a win here to keep their playoff hopes alive, while the Iloilo Navigators trying their best to regain some pride after what has been a disappointing conference so far. Crisscross King Cruncher, Signal HD Spikers, Asal Eco Oil, and even FEU all here are in the top 4, so the standings will be shaking up here today no matter what. Thank you very much for joining us and spending your afternoon here at the United Sports Arena. I'm Paul de Rosario alongside Josh Yoson. And Josh, when we take a look at these two teams in particular, must win here, must win in particular for SAVOUGE if they want to make the semifinals.
That's right, SAVOUGE, they need to win all the remaining games to keep their high hopes in the semifinals. On the other hand, the Navigators, after winning their first game, they lost in their 6 consecutive games.
Let's take a look at the team standings and find out where they all are here today. Of course, when you take a look at how this SAVOUGE Spin Doctor started out, they started out like a house on fire. 4 straight wins before running into the PGJC Navy, whose game we'll take a look at later on, and FEU in particular. And all of a sudden, they are 4-2 on the outside looking in. Pero katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, the other games will also feature the top 4 squads, and you have to notice here that every single game for the teams up top, especially number 3 and 4 position, must win here today.
That's right. Because we all know that only the top 4 teams will move on to the semifinals, and there they will be joined by a guest team, and then a single round robin and a knockout round for a bronze and a gold medal match.
Yan po yung format po natin as we take a look at the last game of the Navigators Iloilo. Again, it was another disappointing loss for them against the VNS Griffins. That came in 4 frames. And you have to feel that things just haven't been going right for them this conference.
That's right. There were a lot of miscues, miscommunications for the Navigators, and of course their number 1 problem was their service reception. As we take a look on the standing on that game, 54 spikes apiece, but blocking same din, and service aces. Ayun, nakakadami ng puntos sa service ace itong VNS. Yun nga kasi mas naging problematic ang the Navigators still in their service reception.
Well, one guy who hasn't been as problematic for them is a certain Mads Gampong. Now, he hasn't been as consistent as maybe a lot of people would have wanted him to be, considering yung pedigree niya. But Mads Gampong was moving and trending in the right direction as of their last game.
That's right. I had a little chat with Mads Gampong earlier today. Sabi niya, laban pa rin talaga at lalaban pa rin sila kahit ngayon, pagpunta nila dito, medyo konti lang yung nag-show up sa kanilang team. But still, yung mindset niya is panalo pa rin. Gusto niya pa rin manalo on their remaining games.
We'll take a look at that later on, as in particular the number of players that are there here for SAVOUGE. They do have a few substitutions that could happen, but of course, that's going to be something to watch out for. I'm sorry, right, talking about the Navigators Iloilo and SAVOUGE. But speaking of SAVOUGE, just take a look at what happened in their last game. After starting out the conference red hot, even taking an upset win over the Signal HD Spikers, things haven't gone their way. They lost to FEU, and now they lost to the PGJC Navy Sea Lions in their last one. And they were full of energy, but unfortunately for them, this time they could not pull it off.
That's right. Actually, both played well in the defense area, but Navy showed up a little bit more on the net defense. They produced more blockings. To take a look on that stats, 12 blocks for Navy, kaya medyo nahihirapan makapasok ng maraming palo dito ang SAVOUGE. But yun nga, no, both errors mas nakadami din dito ang SAVOUGE, but still yun nga, mas nanaig talaga ang blockings at medyo nahihirapan makakuha ng madaming puntos at the end of the 4th set itong SAVOUGE.
Well, net defense proved to be, as you were saying a while ago, the biggest difference in that last game. But one guy who did not care about the net defense of the PGJC Navy, Shawi Caritativo. Shawi Caritativo coming up big in terms of scoring and able to get it all done at the net. Parang walang nagagawa yung blocking sa kanya. Let's see if that will happen here today. But what do you like about Shawi?
That's right, though. He's the most effective attacker so far for SAVOUGE this conference, producing 19 points, 18 of them coming from the attack, and 1 service ace for Shawi Caritativo.
Now moving it on to the 3rd member for broadcast team, Denise Valdez Sancho. Denise, take it away.
We love hearing from our fans online. We have a poll below your stream asking if you're on the Pilipinas Live app, or rather, the question is, which powerful attacker will rack up the most points today? Is it Mads Gampong? Is it Shawi Caritativo? Again, which powerful attacker will rack up the most points today? Mads Gampong, Shawi Caritativo. You can also join the conversation online by using the hashtag SpikerServe2024. You can also like our Facebook and Instagram pages. But for now, more of the action later, only here where power meets passion, the Spikers Serve.
Check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing our two national referees in charge for match number 38. Our first referee is Mr. Fernando Velarde. And our second referee is Mr. Erlindo Eusebio. Presenting the starting lineup of the Navigators. Beginning with their outside hitter, number 2, Kyle Villamore. Middle blocker, number 5, Kyle Ramones. Center, number 12, Moy Lopez. Outside hitter, number 15, Brian Haleco. Middle blocker, number 16, Jeffrey Alicando. Opposite spiker, number 18, Mads Gampong. And their starting libero is number 1, Rick Adao. Coaching the D Navigators is John Paulo Ancheta. Introducing the starting lineup of SAVOUGE Spin Doctors. Beginning with their team captain, outside hitter number 24, Hiro Austria. Outside hitter number 1, Shurin Caritativo. Middle blocker number 3, Charlie Magpayo. Middle blocker number 4, Giles Torres. Opposite spiker number 10, Norwell Sanama. Center number 13, Michael Imperial. And their starting libero is number 5, Rico Marmeto. The head coach of SAVOUGE is Sidney Calderon.
Let's take a look at the lineups here for the Navigators Iloilo. Again, a lot of names there not present. We'll talk about them later on. But then, you take a look at the fact that, they are playing Jerome Lopez at a center who did not even play in their last game. And, of course, Mads Gampon, the player to watch out for in particular here today. Of course, talking about the D Navigators Iloilo. So, looking at SAVOUGE this time, Norwell Sanama coming into the lineup after not playing in their last game. And of course, Hero Austria showing caritativo. You can expect them to be one of the higher scorers here for today's matchup. As we now take a look at SAVOUGE Aesthetics against D Navigators Iloilo in this one, with SAVOUGE needing a win to try and keep their semifinals hopes alive. Thank you very much for joining us on One Sports Plus Pilipinas Live. And this is the first game of our triple header. Paulo De Rosario alongside Yoshioso, Denise Valdesancho joining us in the sidelines. And thank you very much for this afternoon of volleyball here with us today. Yos, let's take a look first at the siguro absences ng D Navigators Iloilo. Kasi medyo madami nga eh. And not only that, you have a team that has been reeling of looking at the rankings, 6 losses already. Looking for any spark. Siyempre may pride pa rin dyan. But then when you had a chat with Mads Campong a while ago, what is their mindset going into this one?
Still, no, yung passion ni Mads Campong sa paglalaro ng volleyball still there. Yung gusto niyang ipakita dito. But sabi ka, Hero Austria there with the hammer.
Well, kanina nga na-mention ko that Hero Austria is going to be one of the players that will come up big here, at least expected to come up big here. One of the leaders for sure dito sa SAVOUGE, playing as the captain here today. At napakaganda ng simula ng SAVOUGE this conference. One of their highlights being getting one over the Signal HD Spikers, upsetting them in what was a 5-setter as SAVOUGE gets the score off the net violation there. Pero alam mo, it's never easy for the Spin Doctors because of the fact na napakahaba ng mga laro nila. They've had so many 4-set games, 5-set games this conference. They're resilient, but they need to get those easy wins as well.
That's right. Kailangan talaga mas maging matibay nila, no? And i-lessen yung mga errors nila. But
great save there. First by the libero, then caritativo. Chance now, Lopez with the setup. Net defense not working out there for SAVOUGE. Mads Campong with the first point here for D Navigators.
What I like about Mads Campong, no, talaga yung power. Yung mukhang hindi nauubusan to eh. So mamaya makikita natin since kita nga natin, konti lang sila dito sa lineup. So yung pagpapalitan ng player medyo limited for them.
Not a lot of options for the coach. In fact, yung head coach nga nila wala dito eh. At that time, ang Payo scoring off the block as well.
Yes, also no, titignan din natin yung ball contribution ng setters. Of course, dapat hindi mapagod ang mga players dito for the Navigators. On the other hand, sa SAVOUGE naman, kailangan talaga lang mas maging matibay, lalo na sa mga darating pa nilang mga games.
Service error there from Magpayo. As the ball will go, and the point will go the way of the Navigators, as we see Coach Sydney on the floor. And did a great job so far with the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors. They also had a very entertaining game with FEU. It was a 5-setter, as that one was hit with a lot of venom. Sanama, nagpapasama ng loob.
Fantastic contact eh. Kita-kita natin ang daming options dito ng SAVOUGE. Mga combination plays.
Itong si Norwell Sanama didn't even play in their last game against the PGJC Navy. It goes to show you may depth din to, yung grupo na to. As he sends that away for a service error. And that has to be something that they have to be wary about. Giving points away to the Navigators Iloilo and giving them a chance to get some momentum. Soft touch, kept alive. Barely. Imperial sends it the other way. And that'll be a point there for Imperial. Campong did not get there sooner enough. But they are going to challenge this, saying that it did. It was a successful pancake save. Well, we'll find out sooner rather than later. Pero alam ko kulang yung D Navigators. But then, sa totoo lang, in terms of the rotation dito sa Spikers Turf, you could get away with around 9 players. Pero siguro kung 9 players lang yung dala mo, the quality might not be there from a depth perspective.
That's right. Or lalo na, no, yung consistency or pagiging enough, lalo nung... Kasi ang hirap din talaga maglaro ng dire-diretso, lalo na kung hindi kayo masyadong nakakapag-training. And yun nga, no, nakausap ko kanina si Mads Campong. Talagang minsan, lalo na on their last training, talagang konting-konti lang yung nagpakita on their last training.
Talaga may frustration para sa D Navigators Iloilo. Something they want to remedy, hopefully, for next conference. And maybe yung whatever administrative issues that they do have will be fixed. But at the moment, we're going to take a look at the floor touch challenge here as they are trying to keep in pace with the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors early on. Because starting early could change yung narrative natin sa laro na to. Because this SAVOUGE team, they are the favorites here by far, to be quite honest. And for the Navigators, being an upset team or trying to be the team to give an upset will be a big thing for them. As we're going to see kung may floor touch nga ba. Ooh. Ooh.
On review, there is no floor touch.
No floor touch, so they're going to go and try this again. Let's take a look at that. Great challenge so far.
Navigators is successful.
And you know, that grabe yun eh, kasi kita mo talaga, may muscle siya sa kamay, may muscle din sa forearm. Nag-double bounce siya sa kamay ni Mads Gampong. Great save for him.
That's right. Sobrang bilis din kasi ng mga palitan ng bola. Hindi masyado nakita yun ni referee.
Trying to get that back. Great floor defense at the back. Good single block coverage so far. Who do they look for? From the back row. That's good.
Of course, one of the go-to players talaga nitong D Navigator. Sino pa bang hahanapin nila? Of course, Mads Gampong. That backline hit. Lusot na lusot sa blocker itong SAVOUGE.
And Mads Gampong, we did expect him to really carry this team offensively. But what a reply there. Itong si Torres, Giles Torres coming in, getting that between the blockers and the net.
Nice. Quick again for SAVOUGE. So far, palitan ng puntos dito. Itong D Navigators and SAVOUGE.
Lopez. Oh, great setup. As Alicando gets the score. Barely played in the last game. Didn't even score, but finally has a point. Take a look at that again. See Jeffrey Alicando on the service line. But good answer coming from SAVOUGE. Order saying that it's a good answer. They're going to challenge it. So we're going to challenge ball in, ball out. So we're going to rely on the camera. Kasi pateo, akala ko in. So let's see whether or not that is the case. Pero Yos, how dangerous is this for SAVOUGE if they continue to let D Navigators stay close?
Kasi no, D Navigators, there's nothing to lose na at this stage of the conference. But for SAVOUGE, they need to win most of their remaining games to be still on a semi-final picture.
And we're already going into the final stages of this particular elimination round. December 1 po, ang last day po natin ng eliminations. So that is something to watch out for. And of course, it is still tight up top with the Spin Doctors trying to find a way to barge into the semifinals picture. As you can see here, I'm going to read out these standings. Let's take a look if it's in and woo. Just an inch away, that is out. So the Navigator is getting a bit of a gift there again. Pero ito, Eco Oil, DLSU, and SAVOUGE Spin Doctors all knotted up at 4-2 apiece. In terms of the standing, they need to get a win here. Talking about the Spin Doctors to take provisional 4th place because only the top 4 teams will move on forward. And of course, Eco Oil, DLSU will be playing later on as well, where they take on the Crisscross King Crunchers, who have only lost once this conference so far. As SAVOUGE, all knotted up at 6 apiece. It will be Torres trooping to the service line. Torres. Good touch from the front line. Tapped forward by Imperial. Double block. Good stop. Torres popped that back up from the back. Marlon Sanama just left it too low.
That's too low for Sanama. So going for the power. Medyo tigil ka talaga, lalo na pag galing sa backline yung mga set. Tatry mong paluin eh, but that was too low for him. Yeah.
Feel na feel niya yung takbo niya eh. But then just not able to get there. Oh, meeting at the net. It will go the way of the Navigators, who will take the lead going into the first technical timeout. 8-6, 2-point lead for the Navigators of Galway. We'll be right back.
You're still watching the Spikers Surf Invitational Conference 2024, where power meets passion. Pau, Julius, just some few updates over the Navigators Iloilo side. We are not seeing action, as mentioned, from some of the key players of the team, JV Sumagaysay and Edward Camposano, due to a prior commitment with his family and a certain emergency, respectively. As you can also observe, it will be Coach Beno Ancheta and team owner Captain Mike who's taking charge, as Coach Boyet is in Cebu due to a personal commitment. But gentlemen, here's what the men assured us of. Expect for a recalibrated team na hindi lang daw lalaban, pero mag-e-enjoy din every step of the way. Pau, Julius?
Thank you so much for that report. That was Denise Valdez-Sancho with that. And of course, you know, kapag wala si Sumagaysay, wala si Camposano, and we're also looking at wala si Nursidik, wala si Steven Santamaria. There are and even Vince Imzon. It's really going to be difficult for this D Navigators team, but for all of the absences, there is now opportunity para sa mga players who probably did not get as much playtime in the past to try and do something different here today.
That's right. No? Mas gigel ang makikita nating players na D Navigators. Yun nga, nasabi mo yung mga hindi masyadong nagagamit. This is their time to play. And of course, no pressure play for the Navigators, and so far maganda yung pinapakita nila, but that was another over reception coming from the Navigators.
And if you're SAVOUGE, yan yung nakakatakot eh. A team with nothing to lose, who was definitely going to play without any fear. And we're seeing that here today from the Navigators. Walang ka-ere-ere, it is just all volleyball as they regain the lead here, 10-9 with a 1-point lead.
Walang ka-ere-ere, pero si Gampong ereng-ere sa taas ng talon. Take a look at that. Taas ng kuha eh.
Another look at that, as you mentioned, the coverage not quite there. Panakabawi naman ng SAVOUGE.
What a play there by SAVOUGE. Dalawang quick yung sumabay.
Minsan medyo diesel engine yung simula ng SAVOUGE. In a sense na medyo mabagal siya sa simula, then all of a sudden bumabanat sa huli as they give a point back. Another service error here for the Spin Doctors as the Navigators take the lead. That's Coach Sydney. Could only imagine what gears are turning in her head, trying to get this right. The Navigators, good serve, better reception. Norwell Sanama looking for a touch, not getting it.
Almost a good combination play for SAVOUGE, but Sanama was a bit late on that sequence.
Naka-anim na errors na po ang Spin Doctors in this game. And that is actually half of the point production here of the Navigators Iloilo. As Caritativo was just stuffed there by Alicando and Gampong.
Of course, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yun, lalo na this stage. Talagang magbigay ng maraming puntos sa kalaban.
Well, nakita natin in the last game, pinaliwala ni Caritativo ang net defense ng Navy, but not the case here. Caritativo again. Ooh, same result. Saw the double block. And all of a sudden, it's a 4-point lead. The Spin Doctors sue for time.
Diskartehan natin, kung hindi natin madala sa malakas na palo, pwede nating utak-utakan muna. Lumilikod na sila eh. Pwede tayong mag-drop ball.
Bakit kasi simulan natin, hindi naman ito yung training natin eh.
Pero sa akin, hindi kayo nagsasalita eh.
Pagkapunto si wala, magano na kayo, handle na kayo. Pero
Magaganda naman yung set, di natin na-convert. Maayos naman yung mga bato.
Sa amin, pag tuloy sa guys, umigil kasi kayo, nadadala yung team eh. Umigil kayo.
Well, the marching orders are clear. Medyo predictable ang opensa nila. Trying to vary it here. Maybe looking for the drop ball. Caritativo in particular literally gave 2 points back-to-back to the Navigators after hitting a spike straight at a wall of hands para sa the Navigators. Caritativo trying something different. Less power, more placement, scoring off the block.
Finally, they have to play smarter if nakita yung blockers talagang maganda yung pagkaka-establish. So far kanina, no, nakadalawang magandang established ng blockers dito ang the Navigators, but good adjustment there on the side of SAVOUGE.
Have to play smarter. Yan ang payo ng coaching staff ng SAVOUGE. But that time, nothing Torres could do about it because Mats Gampong just hammered that off the hands.
That's right. Yun naman si Gampong na power. And power ang pinag-uusapan.
And that's the right way to use the power. But here we go. The Navigators. Too much mustard on that one. Pedrosa will check in as well as Narciso. The SAVOUGE Spin Doctors, Coach Sydney in particular, has done a great job in terms of rotation in the past few games. Pero dito yung simula nila has been left wanting. Still a lot of time to catch up here. 3-point lead para sa D Navigators. And Ciso will troop to the service line. And Narciso rather. And that time scoring off the block. With the block rather. As Caritativo will be credited with that point.
3-man block for SAVOUGE. Medyo mahirapan talaga makadaan doon ng atake dito ng Navigators, but almost a good cover there.
So let's see, Narciso coming in as a bit of a service specialist. And I believe one of the hardest jobs in volleyball. Yung galing ka lang sa bench and biglang papaserve ka. Great defense played here so far. Ito naman si Caritativo. At biglang umiba yung aura ng SAVOUGE Spin Doctors. You see a few more smiles. You're seeing the body language change a bit. And take a look at that. As Caritativo just managed to find the gap between the two blockers. Apolinario with the setup. Going to the wing. And that time, Kent Sabando getting the score. Avoiding the blockers, hugging the line. And we're going to go to our second technical timeout.
Good things take time. Sinasabi nga natin na hindi naman lahat ng magagandang bagay or mga goal is binibigay lang. Siyempre, pagtutuunan mo yun ng time, ng sacrifice, at ng pagpupursige. Hindi lang yan basta na iaabot sa'yo, ganun. Kailangan paghirapan mo talaga.
Well, John Michael Apolinario there with the inspirational quote. Good things take time. Well, just like getting wins here for them here this conference, it has taken a bit of time. Only one win and 7 games for them here so far, trying to post a little bit of an upset here against the 5th place SAVOUGE Spin Doctors as they get a service ace courtesy of Caritativo and a little help from the tape.
So far, nakatulong yung mga pagse-celebrate nila, no? Kasi yun yung pinupuna kanina dito ni Coach Sidney na medyo tahimik sila. Kaya medyo mas nakakalamang kanina ang The Navigators, but
same result. Itong si Shawi Caritativo. Service ace again. Only has had 1 in the last game. Now has 2 after getting a bit of help from the tape. Once more, deja vu. And that's 2 for SAVOUGE. Timeout. Let's listen in.
Timeout lang, pamatay momentum. Usap kayo ulit. Ano lang, wala tayong ibang kailangan alalahanan dito. 1 puntos lang kailangan muna natin trabahuin. No, kahit paisa-isa, okay lang. Okay, so hindi natin kailangan pumirsa ng galaw. Pag mayroong receive, diskarte. Pag walang receive, may gagawin. Okay? Tara. Go! Abi!
Well, very clear that the timeout was to kill the momentum. Back-to-back aces here for the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors. And of course, reminding the team that 1 point at a time. Lamang na ulit ang SAVOUGE Spin Doctors as the D Navigators Iloilo have not done their job here with service reception. In fact, that's one of the issues you mentioned earlier sa pregame natin. Ang service receptions are some of the issues they have to watch out for. Kept alive, Apolinario with the setup. And a single block, Hero Austria kept that alive. Austria again. That time, nothing stopping that.
And, good block there by the Navigators. So far, no, ang ganda ng mga rallies. Pagka nakakuha silang magandang timing sa blocking, talaga nabablock nila dito ang SAVOUGE.
And all of a sudden, the Navigators all knotted up here, 17 all. And Torres scoring with the plum.
And a good side out there by SAVOUGE with that quick hit by Torres.
You know, you mentioned a while ago na medyo tahimik ang SAVOUGE. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We know them to be one of the loudest teams dito sa Spikers Turf. Yung mga timeout nila, even their crowd, they have a fantastic support. And that time, could not get them cheering. Apolinario with the setup. Good fake. And that time, the floor defense, the coverage, not quite there. Medyo nahuli si Narciso.
Good read there by Aleco. The drop ball. Late doon na yung depensa ng SAVOGE.
And here is Lopez on the service line para sa D Navigators, all tied up at 18 all. Whoever said that this was going to be an easy game for SAVOGE, D Navigators did not read the script. Hero Austria hammering that off, and there's going to be a review before that spike. It looks like they believe that there was already a violation talking about D Navigators, already a floor touch. Tignan natin kung tama sila. They were right a while ago with the first challenge on a floor touch of Mads Gampong's pancake save efforts. Tignan natin kung tama sila ulit. But this time, hopefully getting a point in the process.
I believe it was from the reception of the libero, Marmieto. But so far, no, good ball daw ang sabi dito ng SAVOGE.
So let's see whether or not that is going to be true. As the D Navigators, again, at a disadvantage already from a numbers perspective. If you look over to the bench, it's a lonely place para sa D Navigators. Tatlo lang sila. And sa coach, actually sa buong bench na there are only, I believe, 2 staff members seated on the bench ng D Navigators. That just goes to show you, napaka-short-handed po nila.
Beno Cancheta from National University. Actually, medyo madami-dami silang from NU. Also, Ramones, number 5, is also from NU. And of course, Mads Gampong.
There you have it, the 3 men there on the side for D Navigators. And of course, the 6 on the floor here. As you take a look at that, and do they have a point? That was close, but no cigar. Great defensive effort there. No floor touch. Imperial will check in, as well as Norwell Sanama coming in for the two initial substitutions. And Narciso Pedrosa checks out. As it'll be Imperial to serve here.
The score is 19 serving 18.
19 serving 18, SAVOUGE in the lead. Just by precarious point, and Lopez the setup. And a great combination play there. D Navigators not lying down.
Still a good response for by D Navigators. That combination play na pasabay sa setter. Yung blockers dito ng SAVOUGE.
That was Haleko. 19 all now. Ooh. Not the best of receptions. Austria trying to make something out of nothing. The soft touch there with a triple block right in front. Had to adapt. Two blockers, not good enough. It's a Mads world as Mads Gampong gives the lead to D Navigators.
I like that. It's Mads world by Mads Gampong. Look at the flight coming from the big set of the libero.
Here's Austria.
Ooh.
Who do they go to now? They go to the wing again. Going to Norwell Sanama, and he even things up.
Sanama with a down-the-line hit. So, kung mapapansin mo, yung substitution na nakuha dito ng SAVOUGE maganda kasi full front line pa rin sila.
Again, Coach Sydney very good at rotating players. Has had, as that time, not much he could do about it. As the SAVOUGE will take that point.
Medyo hindi maganda yung pagkakabasa doon. Itong libero ng SAVOUGE, si Enon. Kala niya kasi itatap sa gitna, kaya napasugod siya.
Tama. 1 point lead for DNAV. And it's all evened up again as Norwell Sanama has been playing big here for the Spin Doctors.
So far, it's a battle of the opposite spikers for both teams. Mataasan ng talon and combination plays.
Charlie Magpayo on the service line, 21 all. Lopez. Great play again for DNAV, and they are not going away. 3 points away from stealing frame number 1.
And, a good play there by the Navigators kasi lahat nakabantay kay Gampong eh.
And that time, Sanama very excited. It's a check ball, says the first official, and happened right in front of him. Norwell Sanama has been big here in this frame. Again, did not play the last game, coming up big in this one. Pero syempre, when you compliment someone while they're about to serve, normally, nagiging service error po siya.
Parang 99.9%.
Oo, kasalanan ko po yan. Pasensya na po.
So, may binabati tayong player.
Torres hammers that down. Important point here as we're all knotted up at 23 all. A chance here for the Spin Doctors with Garita team from the service line. 2 aces in this frame alone so far for him. And shall we get another? That time hit the tape, but under. Set point here for D Navigators. And SAVOUGE now asking for a timeout. Will they get it though? A couple substitutions first. And there's a call for time. Let's listen in. Should be interesting.
Pwede bang bago tayo mag-serve, hinga muna tayo ng malalim. Masyado na naman tayo nagmamadali eh. Ha? O, isa lang yan. Dalawa lang spiker nila. Peace,
Wala na yan. Reset tayo ulit.
O, tumba. Hero ha. Cover! Cover ha. Isa maiwan sa likod. Shawi, ikaw lang sa likod. Ha?
Pataas mo konti, hindi naman siya.
Huwag manggigil pag binigay sa pipe ha. Ha? Isa lang yan. Para
go!
Well, trying to tweak their offense or defense right before this potential final point of the frame here, as the Navigators Iloilo, only with 9 players present, only with 2 coaching staff here, are about or are hoping to take this frame from a top 5 team. And a soft touch from Torres extends this frame, saying no upset here today, at least in frame number 1. Let's take a look at that again.
Good read there by Torres. Kitang-kita niya, no? Yung walang katao-tao doon sa depensa doon ng the Navigators.
Well, following the directions of coach, breathe deep before you serve. That's a good, safe serve. But that was an even better attack coming from the Navigators. Set point again here for DNAV.
A good response once again by the Navigators. That's what you get eh. Pagka maganda yung reception mo, pagka makakuha ka ng magandang atake.
Ooh. Oh, and this could spell danger. Saved. Free ball to play with for DNAV. Who did they turn to? Lopez with the setup. Soft touch, not good enough. Tried to be too clever. Hero Austria, not that time. Who did they turn to here? 3-man block. Did it catch the line? No, it did not. SAVOUGE takes the point, but there's going to be a challenge here. Oh, this is going to be big. They're going to challenge a net touch. Well, this could spell the difference here. And a lot of discussions happening. Coach Ancheta. With the challenge here, net touch is the contention, as the Navigators. I think it's safe to say here, a surprising performance for them dito sa set number 1, regardless of how this challenge goes. Because, again, sobrang daming wala.
That's right.
There's no Sumagaysay, no Camposano, no Himzon, no Nursidik. I can go on and on. Ang daming wala. Pati yung head coach nila, wala.
Dayan Dante as well.
Dayan Dante also not there. But still, here they are, rising above their own trials, as the Navigators are hoping this net touch will go their way. As the challenge machine shifting through the frames, trying to find the right moment. And is there going to be a net touch here? Clean up top and clean all the way down. No net fault, all tied up at 25 all. Teams still need to score 2 to get this one. SAVOUGE said a while ago, hingang malalim, as Michael Imperial is on the service line here. Got a good serve in, dealt well. Lopez has set up. Single block by Sanama, but it's still alive. Free ball to play with. SAVOUGE, who did they turn to? Norman Sanama.
That was inside for Sanama, targeting that end line.
He has been huge here in set number 1. Now it feels like it's the Spin Doctors who are set to steal frame number 1. Ooh, but they give that point straight back. And Coach Sydney stomps her foot in frustration.
May unofficial count, no? Third service error on that latter part alone. Nitong first set.
Pero bumawa naman si Norwell, as it set point again for the Spin Doctors. This time, Hero Austria troops to the service line.
Naiiwan mag-isa doon yung blocker na itong the Navigators.
trying to lead by example. Austria. Lopez with the back set. And that time does not go across the net point. And the set goes to the Spin Doctors after a gallant stand from D Navigators in set number 1. But in the end, it was the Spin Doctors who held on. But it was tough as we take a look at that final point.
It's a good block there by SAVOUGE. Alam nila talaga pupuntahan nila ng D-Navigators dito si Gampong. Kaya nabantayan lang mabuti doon.
Yeah, Gampong forced to change the angle. And unfortunately for Mads, it will go the way of the Spin Doctors who take frame number 1, 28-26. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to United Sports Arena here in Pasig City, where the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors survived a gallant stand from D Navigators Iloilo. Only 9 people here present for D Navigators Iloilo in terms of playing personnel. But they have done well, held their own in so many ways. In fact, had a chance to win the frame. We're at set point first, but things just didn't work out at the end. My partner Yos is gonna break this down. Ano nangyari sa D Navigators sa huli, and why was it that the Spin Doctors ended up on top at the end of frame number 1?
There were a lot of great exchanges, and so far yung reception dito ng D Navigators maganda. But eventually, no, sa attacks, ang daming na puntos dito sa atake. Itong Spin Doctors with 19 points compared to only 12 of D Navigators. Sa blocks naman, 3 for D Navigators and 1 for Spin Doctors. And service aces, 2 for Spin Doctors and 1 for D Navigators. And yun nga, no, yung mga errors din na kailangan lang i-lessen. 10 for Spin Doctors and 6 for D Navigators. But yun nga, no, sa last few points itong first set, mas nabantayan dito ng Spin Doctors si Mads Gampong. Kaya mas nakuha nila yung first set na yun.
Well, nakita din natin na sa opponent error count as we focus on what happened in set number 1. Nung nasa 12-point mark ang D Navigators Iloilo, 6 of those points actually came from the errors of the Spin Doctors. So that is something that they have to address going into set number 2. Pero easier said than done. You have the list of the top scorers. Sino po yung mga stars natin sa set number 1?
So far, Gampong with 6 points and sa bando, Haleco with 2 points apiece. Torres with 6 points. Austria with 4. And Caritativo 4 already. And yung gusto natin no, yung contribution ng mga bola, mga batuhan. And alam natin itong D Navigators, very limited ang magiging substitution kasi nga 9 players lang nandito ngayon.
Well, limited in substitution, but definitely not limited in heart. As we saw in set number 1, they take the first point here after scoring off the block. Para sa SAVOUGE Spin Doctors, you take a look at the errors that they did commit. A lot of them actually attack errors, and that is something that they try to address middle of the frame number 1 kasi medyo nagigigil sila eh. Trying to end the points early or trying to end each rally early as Norwell gets the point here for the Spin Doctors, who has been really good actually throughout this contest all throughout.
And also yung pagiging tahimik nila kanina on the first part ng set number 1, medyo nagawa na nila ng paraan at nag-iingay na sila every point.
So 7 points actually itong si Norwell Sanama, who we did not mention a while ago from SAVOUGE. So he's actually the leading scorer here. Hero Austria. Oh, gets the ace. Finds the corner. 2-point lead here for the Spin Doctors. Para sa D-Navigators naman, we know that the Spin Doctors are a team na medyo mabago sila magsimula. We've seen that all throughout the conference. But for them, they can't allow the Spin Doctors to have a good start dito sa set number 2. Take a look at that setup. Sanama saw that all the way. He was so excited to go on that attack.
Kita natin, pagka-receive talagang hinihingi na din talaga agad yung bola. At alam natin, magigigil at magigigil. Ang taas ng talon. So far, ang go-to player dito na sa SAVOUGE.
Hero Austria had an ace just a while ago. That time too long. Ball did not dip down fast enough. Here's Mads Gampong. Imperial with the setup. But that time it'll be a net violation according to our officials here. No challenge from the Spin Doctor, so there'll be a free point given away to D-Navigators. And at this point, they'll take whatever they can get. Yeah, there was a bit of movement there. Oh, Sanama, it's been his frame.
Still Sanama. Unstoppable. From first set, coming to this second set. Ito kailangan bantayan dito nitong D-Navigators, si Sanama.
Here's Diwa on the service line. First time playing this game, in this matchup in particular. Here's Alicando. Tried to dump that down. Ito naman si Caritativo with the setup that time. Imperial. Attack set. Sanama almost scored. Ito naman si Villamor. Imperial going to Caritativo. Mads Gampong. Good reception there. Villamor. Can they keep this alive? Yes, they can. That's pure effort. And it results in a point. That is a high morale boosting point here for D-Navigators Iloilo.
Hustle there by D-Navigators. Yung mga kailangan nila dito, yung tiyaga, patience sa tatakuha ng puntos.
Imperial. Oh, unable to really reach that. But the point there will go to D-Navigators for touch. But they are going to challenge, I believe. They're going to challenge a block touch.
There's the challenge of the call by SAVOUGE. The challenge is block touch.
Again, for the D-Navigators Iloilo, who are now protesting this point, trying to stay in pace with SAVOUGE. We again have to give them all the credit in the world kasi they're only 9 in total, including coaching staff. Or rather 11 in total,
11
including
total.
coaching staff. 1 head coach, 1 assistant, and their head coach was actually their assistant coach. As Coach Boyd was actually in Cebu, as mentioned in the report from Denise. And they're challenging a block touch here to avoid the 4 touches. So right now, the Spin Doctors are actually also trying to figure out what the call would be. Actually, the D-Navigators are also asking what would happen kung may block touch ka.
Kasi nga, backline ng setter dito ng SAVOUGE, yung sinasabi dito ng D-Navigator. So, it's going to be an illegal attack.
Well, let's see what the referees decide. Buti lang hindi tayo referee. And of course, we'll let the camera decide first kung may block touch o hindi. Once again, thank you very much for joining us here on the 2024 Spikers Turf Invitational Conference. Must-win game para sa SAVOUGE Spin Doctors, because a win here could see them sneak back into the top 4 picture. Only the top 4 teams will advance in semifinals, with Eco Oil, DLSU, and SAVOUGE having the exact same records. Ito naman PGJC Navy with a 4-3 record. If SAVOUGE lose this one, they will be even with the PGJC Navy. And in our second game, if the EcoLDL SU also loses Crisscross King Crunchers, there will be 3 teams with a 4-3 record. And because we don't really like math as much, sana po hindi ganun yung situation natin mamaya. But then, of course, that's going to make things all the more interesting. So we'll have our stats guys tell us how it's going to work out. But at the moment, of course, it is the Spin Doctors who have the burden of proof here to try and beat the D-Navigators Iloilo, who are short-handed, who are undermanned, both in coaching staff and in player personnel. And this should be at least a win for the Spin Doctors, but we've seen so many instances wherein the team who looks like to be at a disadvantage comes away with memorable wins. So again, challenge system still checking whether or not kung may block touch o hindi. And if there is a block touch, what will happen after that? Is there a block touch? Ooh, that is close. I cannot tell. There is a block touch.
On review, there is a block touch. So the challenge by SAVOUGE is successful.
It's a successful challenge. But what will that mean? The D-Navigators are hoping it will be a replayed point. SAVOUGE would also obviously hope that a point will go their way instead.
That's right, kasi they were calling it as a illegal attack from the setter of SAVOUGE. Kasi nga backline yung setter ng SAVOUGE. So kung tumama yun sa blocker man itong D-Navigators.
So the captains and our official here having conversations. Again, could be a crucial point. I know we're only at 4 and 5, but then we're at a point in this game where every single point matters. Kanina nga, nag-extended set pa tayo. And momentum is such an important thing here. SAVOUGE in particular, they're a team that require momentum because sometimes it's so hard to stop them. But then getting them going has been the issue for them throughout the conference.
Of course, medyo malamig pa dito sa ating court. Kaya hindi pwedeng basta-basta mahinto ang momentum ng both teams.
You know, we're also very lucky that may lucky charm tayo dito. Yung floor director natin sa Lian, kahit 3 sets daw yung mga laro niya, parang 5 set daw yung length. So we'll see whether or not that's going to be true here today. But of course, that just means a lot more exciting volleyball than we're here for it. Kyle Villamor to serve. So we're replaying this, if I'm not mistaken. 4 and 5 right now in favor of SAVOUGE. Made it 4 and 6. Caritativo. Go strong here. Finishing despite the late block.
Still hot hands, Caritativo. Parang hindi lumamig eh.
Here's Sanama, who's going to be hoping that he'll continue on his good run of form, but that time goes wide. So the point returned here to the Navigators. Again, that's always going to be the risk when you serve with a lot of power. You're going to try and look for the point, try and look for the score, pero the chances of it going a bit long are a lot higher. Strong hit from Caritativo. Alicando with a great defensive effort. Free ball to play with. Imperial!
Good adjustment there by Imperial. Medyo pumasok na doon yung reception. Chance ball. Good thing frontline na siya this time.
Well, here's Caritativo, who has started to find this groove here dito sa set number 2. 5 points, 3 attacks, 2 aces. Gampo from the back.
And a good adjustment there by Gampong. So far, no, yung misreception na yun. Kailangan ng i-lessen din.
So it is the Navigators again. Imperial. Very offensive play here so far, past few points. And that time it was SAVOUGE who gets the point to send us to our first technical timeout of the second frame. 2-point lead for the Spin Doctors. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're still watching live the Spikers Trip 2024 Invitational Conference live here at the Inata Sports Arena, Pasig. Gentlemen, one of the bright spots for the Spin Doctors team captain, Hero Austria, the kind to do less talking. It's work, work, work for the captain. Pero chill captain lang naman daw siya. In contrast to Coach Sydney, whom he described to be a disciplinarian. Matter of fact, you could feel a bit of tension during the second technical timeout and the other timeouts kanina. Ang tawag nga nila kay Coach Sid, Madam Sid, dahil nandun daw talaga yung takot. A system that works for them, lalo na't laser eyes sila ngayon for the semis. Gentlemen?
Well, you need that disciplinarian sometimes when you want to get further. At sometimes fear is a good motivator. Nung si Madam nakatakot talaga. Well, at least, you know, based on the looks we've seen, I have not been under that gaze. Pero syempre, we'll let Hero's word speak for itself muna. All knotted up at 8 apiece here. Until Norwell Sanama comes up from the back.
And another point for Sanama. That back row hit naman. Dami kasing options din talaga dito nitong SAVOUGE. May nag-running. And good choice there for the setter of SAVOUGE.
Villamor. Ooh. Hit that down on Diwa.
And so far, the Navigators doing a basic volleyball. No need for a lot of combination plays. You just have to keep going this set.
Well, so far so good here for the Navigators, staying in pace with SAVOUGE. That time, Hero Austria reminding us why we all love the movie Shrek. I Need a Hero. 10-9 here in favor of the Spin Doctors.
And of course, no, if that's what they need, no, yung mga combination plays naman para pagalawin ng blockers dito ng the Navigators.
Ooh. Adao. Oh, that is a difficult pass to play, and Mats Gampong tried to salvage that somewhat, but a point goes back here to the Spin Doctors. 2-point lead now, Hero Austria on the service line. Hero. Villamor. Great reception. Now goes on the attack. 3 blockers. Austria manages to keep that alive. Sanama.
Ooh. No blockers there on the side of the Navigators.
Let's take a look at that. With a great hit that DNAV could not handle. That's a snit.
Kalimutan na natin yan. Oh, guys, ang set play nila, ito, nag-iipon lang naman yan dito eh. Panay sila kombinasyon. Di ba nga, tulad nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, tambay muna kayo dito. No, ang mangyayari dyan, mag-iiba lang yung play, pero ang bato ng bola, nasa gitna pa rin. Di ba? Ang pinaka-objective natin, dito, magdulo-dulo sila. Oh, nung nagdulo-dulo, hindi tayo makastop. Yun nga yung gusto natin. Pag nagdulo-dulo, bumlock kayo ng isang side, down or cross. Ha? Go. Abi, go.
Very technical timeout there, trying to play chess here against Coach Sydney. Let's see whether or not these adjustments in particular can result in a couple of points here for the Navigators.
SAVOUGE with a 3-0 run.
Hero Austria with the serve. Good serve. Still alive here. Adao looking for Villamor. Imperial, great coverage. And that time Sanama can keep it alive here. Austria pushes that across. Villamor again. Oh, but what a block this time from Sanama.
A 4-0 run there by SAVOUGE with that block. Yun yung pinapoint out kanina ni Coach Ben o Anchete. Yung diskarte sa pagpalo. Kasi nga, ito natin, maganda yung pagkaka-establish once again doon ng blockers ng SAVOUGE.
And that'll be a service error, a welcome respite here that ends the run for the Spin Doctors. It was a 4-0 run, an important 4-0 run dito para sa Spin Doctors.
Ooh.
And they get the point straight back. Diwa on the service line. And that time, Mads Gampong could not get enough elevation.
Yun yung mga medyo hindi magagandang klaseng errors on the side of the Navigators. Kasi nakakuha na sana sila ng magandang free point from SAVOUGE. But yun nga, nag-error naman sila on their service and also now they're attacking.
And that's going to be a welcome point here for the Navigators. Kasi kanina nakikita natin na medyo na-frustrate na sila eh. So that might help out how they're doing here. As we can see Coach Sydney. Imperial, the setup. Normal Sanama. That'll be a net violation against the Navigators. So 16-11 to send us to our second technical timeout here in set number 2. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Kalma, baby kalma. Huwag mo naman akong bigyan ng dahilan.
Para sabihan ka, lagabog na. Tama. Di ko alam kung sino kumanta.
At habang tumatama yung vodka, mas lalo ka bang tumitindi.
Well, that was Hero Austria. Unfortunately, did not rap in that particular segment kasi we call that spike the mic kasi minsan gusto natin i-spike yung mic away from our players who we all love to just stick to volleyball minsan instead of staying on the mic. But all joking aside, thank you very much for joining us here. Dito sa Spikers Turf, the Invitational Conference. As this is a must-win game for the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors and the Navigators trying to fight their way back here. 4-point lead for the Spin Doctors after what was almost a back-breaking 4-0 run para sa SAVOUGE in the middle of this frame. And Narciso with the setup. At that time, Caritativo put too much mustard on that.
Too much power there for Caritativo. It's actually a good combination play na sana kasi naiwan mag-isa ang blocker doon ng the Navigators.
Again, for those wondering about the substitutions here or the roster available here for the Navigators, if you look at the corner sa bench po nila, only Adao is there. Mag-isa lang siya na nakatayo. That's how few they are. And it doesn't matter because they're still here fighting. 14-16, Ramones with the score. And quick timeout, let's listen in.
tatlong points agad yung binigay natin. Maganda naman yung pasa natin eh. Yun lang talagang conversion ng points natin. Ha? Make sure lang na mako-convert natin. Huwag ka masyadong manggigil.
Bumalanse ka muna.
Isa na lang naman yung blocker mo eh. Ha? O,
Real
bawi
mo.
isang pasa, isang patay para at least lamang ulit tayong tatlo. Ha? Huwag nang pagbigyan ng isa pang point ha.
Para
Kasi
ano
apat
siya,
magiging apat na yan.
Hey!
And trying to stop the momentum here of the Navigators, and a little mini run here to keep themselves alive. And to be completely frank, partner, DNAV really needed that run. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point game. They score here again. They're back in business.
That's right, 3-0 run for the Navigators.
And Narciso looking for Caritativo. And that time scoring off the block. Much better here for SAVOUGE.
And a good timeout for SAVOUGE. Hitting it off the block.
Substitution for SAVOUGE.
Antonio comes in here for the Spin Doctors. Another tall player up front. That's Caritativo. Set to score here, or wants to score. 2 aces already. Back-to-back aces a while ago in set number 1. Adao with the reception. Ramones with an answer.
Slowly but surely for the Navigators, hindi nila hinahayaang makalayo ng malaki dito ang SAVOUGE.
And the important part here is that we're seeing smiles again here with the D Navigators, and I cannot emphasize how important that is in volleyball, to have that rhythm, that joy in your play. It shows in the way that they play, as the D Navigators all of a sudden, on the back of Ramones actually, has come back into this one.
And a good block there by Ramones.
4 points already for Ramones in this frame alone. 3 sets, 3 here in this frame rather. But then they give the point back here. 2 points again for SAVOUGE Spin Doctors.
Yun yung mga ayaw dito ng D Navigators eh. Kasi nakakakuha na sana sila ng momentum, but nabe-break yun sa mga errors nila.
Cal Torres with the serve. Adao with the reception. Rekos with the score.
Haleko playing it smart. Kita niya yung butas doon eh. Hindi kailangan power eh. But good placement. It's all about placement.
Well, Toto De Pedro, by the way, is in this ball game. Let's see what contribution Toto could have. Speaking of, here's Toto. And Narciso had that set up. They go to the other side, trying to move the defense around. Villamor had to adapt to that. What do they look for? Villamor again. Great coverage here. Gampong trying to end it. What a save as we play on. Villamor!
A good rally there. And yung tiyaga na pinakita dito ng D Navigators. Magandang angat ng coverage nila. Kasi minsan pagka nabablock, minsan hindi na na-cover. But this time, ang daming coverage na ipakita doon ng D Navigators.
18 all. Frustration has to be there. And Diwa returning the lead to the Spin Doctors. Close but no cigars so far yet for DNAV. But they do have the chance to steal this one. Let's take a look at that again. Diwa just put that into the body of Gampong.
Medyo malayo yung blockers. Yung pagkaka-place ng hands ng blockers dito ng D Navigators.
19 serving 18. Imperial with the serve. Oh, and that time, trying to be a bit too clever there in si Ramones. A bit unfortunate considering how good he was in this set.
The set was a bit low for Ramones.
Yeah.
Oh.
And a rotation error on the point here of DNAV. And that has to be so frustrating. They were all knotted up just a moment ago. Adao. Villamor. Can they save it? Imperial to Hero Austria. Good save. Villamor again. A lot of bodies flying here. The spin doctor staying alive. Caritativo gives a free ball away. Villamor. Heavy hit and the score.
So far talaga, no, pag nakakuha ng magandang transition dito ang Dinavigators, na-convert nila into to a point. Mga good coverage nila.
Well, Ramones checks out. That's Apolinario will troop to the service line. Alicando also back in the game. Popped up and straight to a point.
Diwa there with a regalo from that save of the Navigators.
And almost a service ace. Sanama.
Ooh.
Not that time. Didn't really get the right contact. Happened right in front of us, and you didn't hear the sound that you normally hear when Sanama hits it.
I think the set was too fast for him on that sequence. Medyo hindi siya umabot. Kaya yung tunog, rinig natin, hindi talagang buo yung tunog.
Here's Mads Campong. A point here would be big para sa Dinav. Imperial to Caritativo. Oh, what a blocking sequence here for Dinav.
What a block there by the Navigators. Came from a good serve from Mads Campong.
Austria with the save. Noro Sanama slowed down by a block. And that will be a point here for SAVOUGE.
And another error on the side of the Navigators. Chance ball na sana eh. Kaya lang another miscommunication on their side. Kasi dapat sa setter na sana yun. Kaya lang medyo malapit dito sa side ng Zone 5.
Well, this could be big. Scoring here for the Spin Doctors. Sabando. Si Sabando ulit.
Ooh.
But what a block there coming from Torres. And cue the timeout. Can the Navigators salvage this? Let's take a look at that again. Now let's listen in.
Dito ka lang konti sa may kaliwa para makareceive si si Aleko pati si Kyle. O isang stop, daan-daanin natin.
Okay,
Let's go.
Try natin.
Go.
Nabi, go.
24-21. SAVOUGE Spin Doctors trying to make this a 2-0 lead in terms of frames. The Navigators need a minor miracle here to stop them from claiming the set. So who do they turn to here? Diwa is on the service line. They are at set point.
Serving for the set is JD Diwa.
They go to Sabando, triple block, that's too low. It goes the way of the Spin Doctors to take a 25-21 win here in set number 2 and looking to shut out the Navigators Iloilo in the following frame. It was not business as usual, as it was the Navigators who actually had a good run in the middle of the frame to tie things up, but it was the final kick from the Spin Doctors who saw them go up 2-0. We'll be right back after the short break. Don't go away. 25-21 in favor of the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors for a 2-0 lead here in terms of sets against the Navigators Iloilo. But it has never been as straightforward. There have been points here when the Navigators actually went on little runs of their own. They've tied the ball game up late in set number 2, but then it was just the final kick here from the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors that saw them take the frame away. 25-21. Dios, partner, you take a look at what the Navigators have not been doing. The errors have been difficult for them to deal with. Has to take a look at the stats here with 8 opponent errors given by both teams.
That's right. Actually, no, tayo lang sa errors, both teams. But those errors na kinocommit dito ng The Navigators, yun yung mga errors na magbe-break na sana ng momentum nitong Spin Doctors. But yun nga, no, yung mga errors na nakakapunto sana sila ulit ng dire-diretso. But yun nga, nag-error sila on the service. And also on that latter part ng second set, nakakuha sila ng misreception once again. Medyo nahihirapan silang kumuha ng magandang first ball para mapag-convert ng mas maraming atake at mas makadikit sana on that first set. And yan, so take a look on the stats. 13 attacks for Spin Doctors and 11 for the Navigators, with Gampong with 7 points, Alicando with 6, Ramones with 4, Sanama 13 points already, Torres with 8, Caritativo also 6 points. And yun nga, no, going back to the Navigators, Ramones 4 points. Gumagana na sana siya on that second set, but eventually medyo nahihirapan siya makakuha ng puntos dahil nga sa reception itong The Navigators.
Arena Plus, Astigsa Sports, as we go into set number 3 here, with the Navigators trying to survive while the Spin Doctors are looking to finally end this one in straight sets. They haven't had a lot of straight set wins here. In fact, they've had a lot of 5-setters, 4-setters. It's always been extended. Let's see if that will continue here, or if the luck of our floor director Lian will make this go into an extended matchup. Of course, baka kay Denise Valdesancho din. It could be because of her. But either way, we'll enjoy it no matter what. All I know is, it is not our fault, partner. Never is our fault. As we are now waiting for the start of this set number 3. As for the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors, you have to say, so far, professional performance for them, in the sense that they haven't been upset in sets number 1 and 2. Muntikan na sa set number 1. But this is a game that they are expected to win, and they are on track of it so far, as they're enjoying extra screen time here. Itong si Antonio in particular getting a bit of a nod there from Caritativo. But for the Navigators, it has been a conference to forget for them after what was a very big high of the previous conferences, being so competitive, being one of the teams to look out for every time. They have definitely fallen from grace. But the question is, can they reach those heights again in the upcoming conferences? We'll find out sooner rather than later, as they are already out of the semifinals hunt already for quite some time already, with a 1-6 record here, as we get going here in set number 3. And what are you looking for SAVOUGE here in this particular set after what we saw in sets number 1 and 2? We'll find out in just a bit. Caritativo uses a soft touch.
And again, Caritativo playing smart, since nandun yung dalawang blockers nitong The Navigators. The defense was late for The Navigators.
Lopez. Gampong forced to play a free ball the other way. Pushed forward by Caritativo. No real power on that. Good save from Caritativo. They go to Antonio. Scoring off the block.
And once again, the service reception of The Navigators still a problem for them. Kaya hindi sila maka-atake so far. Mas nakakuha ng atake dito ang SAVOUGE.
There's Antonio with that good hit. Lopez, the setup. Oh, Gampong wanted that, and that will go the other way. I believe it'll be a net violation against SAVOUGE. So DNAV will get their first point courtesy of an error from the Spin Doctors.
It was Antonio touched the net.
Ramones with the serve.
Ooh.
And that was a good win at the net here for the D Navigators. So all of a sudden, we're all knotted up at 2 apiece.
Good block there on the side of the Navigators.
Here's D-Nav. Magpayo tried to dunk that down. Alicando with the save. Naman si Antonio scoring off the block.
Sabando was already there but medyo kinulang ng isang step.
Itong si Renzel Antonio did not play in the last game as well. One of the relatively younger members of this team. Siguro siya yung bunso.
Ooh.
Born 2002. What were you doing in 2002?
I think naglalaro na yata ako nun.
Grade 6 ako nun.
Oh, wow.
I had to do the math there. Torres.
Ooh.
Not that time, as that will go the Navigators' way. And now they have the lead, 4-3, as Mads Gampong on the service line.
Ooh.
And that was a good hit there, coming from Norwell Sanama.
Sanama there with a fast cross-court hit. Kaharap sa Perkin Ross court.
Here's Norwell. Again, so impressive in this game in particular. Didn't even play the last game, but alam mo, every time you do well, it's just proof that they could get more playing time, as that time the net defense for Spin Doctors just too good. Here's another look at that.
Another one-hand block there by Imperial.
And Mads Gampong unable to get any lift on that. Two-point lead.
Medyo, kita natin na medyo frustrated on the side of the Navigators. Di makaikot eh.
14 points, 13 attacks, and a single block. Sanama has been doing it all. Lopez, good setup. Ball pops up for a free ball here. And on with the stop. They go to Antonio. Unable to score off the block. Adao. And that's going to be a net violation. Sabando just too close.
Set was too close to the net. Nahihirapan doon ng attacker dito ng Navigators. Now, substitution for them.
Aleco in the game as Sabando checks out. It's Coach Ancheta, one of only 2 people heading the coaching staff here for the D Navigators for this matchup. Got a bit of help from the tape. Lopez with the setup. And kept alive here. Went straight back, trying again. Sanama with a defensive effort. Caritativo looking for Antonio. And Antonio will score. Renzel Antonio, all smiles for him as we go to our first technical timeout. 8-4 in favor of the Spin Doctors. Don't go away.
You're still tuned in live here, live at the Innata Sports Arena Pasig for Spikers Turf Invitational Conference 2024. Gentlemen, it's no surprise that we always see a highly motivated Shawi Caritativo, whom almost lost once his dream of playing a sport he so loved here in Manila. Come the pandemic, Shawi had to stop his studies and transition to the adulting life as he worked in the packaging team of a poultry company. Just when he thought there's no more hope, the SAVOUGE spin doctors opened their doors and he didn't take that opportunity for granted. Now 12th in scoring and 6th in attacking, what has always worked for him is that collective mindset of always trying to contribute to the best of his ability. Yours, Paolo?
Thank you so much for that report. That was Denise Valdesancho with that bit of a profile on Shawi Caritativo. At alam mo, it's just really all about opportunity sometimes. Just coming up and taking the chances given to you. And Shawi has, for the most part here, made the most of it here as a per the report there of Denise. And, you know, we cannot wait to see how far Shawi could go here with the Spin Doctors this conference.
That's right. We saw a lot of great players na naging talagang magaling dito sa Spikers Turf.
Yeah.
And Antonio, already 4 points coming from the bench.
4 points, 6-0 run here for the Spin Doctors as it is business as usual for them here. It looks like they have knocked the fight out of the Navigators, but we'll find out whether or not if they have a kick. And there was a miscue there with regards to the service reception. And that's a service ace there for Antonio, who has been getting a lot of plaudits from his teammates. Again, ito ata yung bunso ng team.
Of course, so 5 points already for Antonio. Fresh legs.
And on with the good reception there. They look for Caritativo. Lopez, the setup. And that time, Gampong manages to sneak that through. Much needed point.
That's right. Much needed point for the Navigator there through the blockers of SAVOUGE.
So I'm trying to do the math here. He's the second youngest player. Talking about Antonio. The youngest is actually si Giles Torres. By a few months, as Caritativo with a heavy hit extends the lead here for the Spin Doctors.
Looks like ayaw nang pahabahin dito ni Caritativo itong game na to. Of course, you have to prepare for their upcoming games.
And the quicker the games, the better it is in terms of yung health nila, I'm sure. Lopez, the setup. And right that time, the Navigators able to answer. Popped up. Caritativo gives the free ball away. Ito naman si Lopez.
Oh!
And Caritativo was wise to it.
Kitang-kita na ni Caritativo eh. Yung attempt dito ng setter dito, the Navigators, Lopez.
Basang-basa eh, no?
Alam niyang front line.
Lopez. Oh! That was a good hit for the Navigators.
Villamor finally with a clean hit. So far, Villamor, no, medyo quiet on this game.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of that here from DNAV, at least in this frame. Jerome Lopez with the serve. That was a good serve, actually. Imperial dumped that down, and the point will go SAVOUGE's way. Overextended there. At least, base sa angle natin, it looked like it. Let's see.
Medyo tumagal.
Yeah, tumagal.
Akala niya siguro may sasabay na blocker sa kanya, kaya hinawakan niya yung bola. Akala niya didikit.
Yan yung hang time. 13-8. You know, if you're the Spin Doctors, you have to be careful here because you're playing well. Sanama scores here for the Spin Doctors. You're playing well, but then self-inflicted errors here could open the door once again for the Navigators.
That's right. They're playing well, but those errors, yun yung mga nakakasakit sa kanila dahil yung momentum na nakuha na sana nga pa rin nila, hindi pa rin nila kaya magtuloy-tuloy.
From the back, that's going to be a point again for DNAV. They are now living off the errors of the Spin Doctors. Unfortunately, parang dumadami na ang errors ng SAVOUGE.
And for SAVOUGE, you can't relax naman kung gusto nilang tapusin itong third set. And once again, itong error na naman ng the Navigators.
15 serve in 9. 9.6 stats, 1 block and 2 aces here. Full day here for Shawi Caritativo. And that time on a defensive effort. Sanama scoring off the block. A little block touch there. 16-9 in favor of the Spin Doctors. Don't go away after this second technical timeout. Let's see whether or not the Spin Doctors could end this. Your favorite NBA superstars on NBA TV Philippines. Now available on Signal Play. Download the Signal Play app on the App Store and Google Play. And subscribe now to catch all the action in this new NBA season. As we have a crowd starting to build up here, we're probably going to stay throughout the day here in the United Sports Arena. And that is because grabe talaga ang bibigat ng second and third games po natin. It is only top 4 teams moving forward. The Shawi Caritativo sends that away. Eco Oil DLSU Green Oilers against the Crisscross King Crunchers in the next fixture, followed by the FEU DN Steel Ultras against the Signal HD Spikers. All of those teams are in the top 4. Well, after this game, provisional 4th place po ang SAVOUGE because they were gonna go up to a 5-2 win slate while Eco Oil's only at 4-2. Should they provide an upset against Crisscross, then they would also go up to the same win total. Kaya grabe, this is a day full of playoff implications. Who do they turn to here? Here's Antonio. And Antonio scores with the left hand. Eight-point lead for SAVOUGE. Sanama has been one of the better players here. And of course, one of the candidates for sure for best player of the game because we're now looking at it through the stats. But then Caritativo also with a shout for sure. But of course, let's see whether or not there's an unlikely comeback here for the Navigators as eventually we get going. And that time, the Navigators managed to steal one back.
They need more of that kind of smart plays. And also, no, kung gusto silang mas makaangat pa ng score dito, they need to strengthen their service reception.
7-point lead. Torres. Good effort there from DNAV, but then Torres with the score. And it is one-sided. One way here in set number 3 in favor of the Spin Doctors as Narciso and Gamban will check back in here to try and provide the final kick here for SAVOUGE to take this much-needed victory.
SAVOUGE wanted to end this third set with a full front line. Gamban coming in.
And that was a heavy hit there coming from Haleko.
Haleko, very smart player. Earlier, no, tapping the ball. Now, hitting it off the block.
You know, you take a look at the roster here for the Navigators and you take a look at the record at hindi sila nagtutugma eh. It's such a talented roster. who unfortunately aren't here complete. There are only around 9 players here for the D Navigators, only 2 members of the coaching staff. Internal problems with regards to numerous issues here. They were actually mentioning that in practice they're not as complete as well. But then to show off what they're showing here so far just goes to show the level of talent that they have. Nakita natin set number 1 and 2, very competitive. Dito lang talaga lumalamang ang Spin Doctors dito sa set number 3.
That's right. And also the errors talaga na binibigay.
Yeah. That time scoring off the block again of the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors. Gamban. His first point, I believe, here. Set number 3. As D Navigator super time. Chance to listen in.
Idikit natin. Kaya nyo naman yan kung tsatsagayin lang natin ng isa-isa Wala tayo bang isipin kundi itong rally lang na to. Tapos after rally, after rally, after rally. Tapos pag tayo nag-serve, break point, break point, break point, break point. Idikit natin Kaya pa yan. Go, let's go. Tara.
Oh, 12 ball Go. 12 ball 12 ball.
21 to 12, and they are still applying the mentality 1 point at a time. And of course, what else could you do here if you're D Navigators? Trying their best to make this competitive once again. We've seen weirder things happen in volleyball throughout the years. Do we have a weird one in store? We'll find out soon enough. Kampong. Coverage was there. Moving things around. They're going left to right. Triple block. Alicando there to cover. And that time scoring off the block much better there from D Navigators.
Finally on this second or third try, Villamor. Yung mga kailangan dito din talaga ng D Navigators, yung pasensya, the patience on the defense and also on the attacking. Kasi alam natin nakabantay yung mga blockers dito ng SAVOUGE.
Here's Apolinario now. Caritativo with the reception from the back. Popped up. Good pass that time, and Narciso able to save it. Gamban, not that time. And that's better here for DNAV. 2 straight points.
Slowly, D Navigators getting a lot of points from Villamor.
Apolinario on the service line. It's amazing what one timeout could do to refocus things. Ito naman si Torres. Oh, great defensive effort. And here we go. 3-0 rally here for DNAV. Cue the timeout from the Spin Doctors. Things haven't gone their way since that last timeout.
Medyo mababa talaga yung set na...
Hindi na kasi sa 4 yung pass.
Basta pag ganun, taas mo na kung kaya naman niya kasi mas mababa na kaganon position. One good pass, tatlo spiker natin, sayang maganda yung pasa natin.
Hey guys, 1 to 4 na lang yung kailangan natin para matapos na to. Huwag na natin pahirapan sarili natin. Let's go.
Hey, isa!
What?
Don't make it harder on themselves. That's the key message. Get the last 4 points.
But D Navigators with a 3-0 run. It's never too late for them kasi medyo apat pa nga yung kailangan dito ng SAVOUGE.
The only time it's too late is if the other team gets a 25. Tama ka dyan, partner, as Apolinario has a serve. Torres. Well, that's point number 1 that they need of the 4.
Good time out there by SAVOUGE with that quick hit of Torres. Ang taas.
Again, trying to put this game to bed, only 3 points away. And Narciso able to save that. Caritativo with a quick look and back on defense. Single block, not good enough.
Check ball for D Navigators. If you're SAVOUGE, hindi mo gugustuhin makaabot ng 20 mark dito ang D Navigators. But if you're D Navigators, need to create more points and less errors. Ooh,
Kakasabi mo lang eh.
hindi talaga pwedeng magbabate eh.
Oo, kasi Narciso gets the error, 22-17. All of a sudden, I believe we were at 21-12 just a while ago. 21-12, and now all of a sudden, the lead is starting to evaporate.
Ooh,
And that's a good reply here coming from Spin Doctors. Imperial and Sanama coming back in, and they're just going to try and make sure that there will not be any twist to this tale as Narciso and Gamban return to the bench.
a good timeout and a good substitution there for SAVOUGE. Now, once again, full front line for SAVOUGE.
Lopez. And that's good again, coming from the D Navigators, who are still trailing here. But 5 points seems a bit more manageable than what they had a while ago.
That's right, lalo na, no? It's also a challenge for SAVOUGE on how you close this set. Ooh.
Oh, and that time, that was just a lot of power here coming from the Spin Doctors. Magpayo with the score, descend it to match point. Caritativo will line this one up from service line. Let's take a look at that again.
With a combination play, kaya na pa natin nakita yan eh. Sanama, pumapasok ng quick and then may magra-running.
Lopez, can they extend this even further? They save one match point.
Still, Haleko, a very smart player. Hitting it off the block.
DNAV have to serve and pitch a perfect game here. Caritativo with the reception. And Magpayo with the kill shot. And that'll do it. 25-19 to complete the sweep here for SAVOUGE Spin Doctors against the very undermanned D Navigators Iloilo. 25-19. You can see there, dalawa lang ang coaching staff ng D Navigators. And when you see the whole lineup later on, you'll notice only 9 players present here, with a lot of stars with D Navigators not here. It was a game for SAVOUGE to lose, and they came in and got the job done in what was a must-win for them. 3-0 against D Navigators Iloilo. When we return, a bit more analysis and an interview with our best player of the game. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're with our player of the game for today's match. We have Norwell Sanama, who delivered 16 points, 15 attacks, and a block. Congratulations, Norwell. First of all, hindi naging madali, or this is a really much needed win for you guys today, and you had a couple of losses before this match. What helped in boosting your morale for today's match, prior to today's match?
Priority namin ngayon sa laro namin ngayon is yung ginawa namin sa training na in-improve namin yung serve namin. Kaya di kami lahat, di ba nakita nyo naman, di kami lahat na jump serve. Yung inaral namin yung float serve para mahirapan sila mag-rumisi para maging out-system yung laro nila.
Norwell also, no, hindi naging madali yung first 2 sets against the Navigators. Personally, what challenged you most and how did you overcome this to get the much-needed win today?
So ang ginawa na lang namin is more communication and na lang din parang ginawa ko, pinaboost ko yung team ginawa ko yung sa training ko kasi hirap yung training ko kasi galing ako open spiker ka lumipat ng UT. Kailangan nila kaya ginawa ko na lang yung best ko para makatulong sa team.
Anybody would like to greet Norwell?
Binabati ko nga pala sa mga pamilya ko dyan sa Mindanao, mga Sanama family, tsaka sa family ng jowa ko, Junice and Buagas. Manood kayo ng Spiker Surf and good luck kay Junice and Buagas, mahal na mahal kita.
Yes. Thank you so much and congratulations to you and to the rest of the team. For now, let's turn it over to our panel.
Alam mo, when we hear players greet their loved ones, napaka-importante yung mahal nila sa buhay. I just want to emphasize that. And congratulations to Norwell for winning or being recognized as the best player of the game here. Set 3 highlights coming up. One-way traffic in that one. Getting the job done by SAVOUGE. Again, coming off a 2-game losing streak. Sa palagay mo, partner, gano'n ka-importante to in terms of their hopes to make it to the semifinals?
Of course, very important itong game na to talaga for SAVOUGE with Sanama being unstoppable on this game talagang if they wanna still get that semifinal gig, they still have to keep on playing better against their opponent with Spin Doctors, 17 attack points compared to 11. Itong D Navigators with 3 blocks. 1 for the Navigators, Service Ace, 1 for the Spin Doctors, and although nakakuha sila ng mas madaming errors, yun nga, mas nakarami sila ng atake with Sanama being unstoppable. And of course, with those combination plays na binibigay nila, kaya nahihirapan din makablock dito ang the Navigators.
It was a professional win here coming from the SAVOUGE Spin Doctors who stay alive in that hunt for an elusive semi-final spot. But then the DLS Eco Oil Green Oilers are going to try their best to make the pressure pay against the Spin Doctors as a take on Crisscross King Crunchers, who are expected for the victory. Let's see whether or not there will be any upsets, and we're going to find out whether or not if we're going to have any of that throughout here today. Thank you very much for joining us on the Spiker Surf Invitational Conference on Pilipinas Live, One Sports and One Sports Plus. Ako po si Paolo de Rosario alongside Jos Joson. Denise Valsancho was our courtside reporter, and we'll see you in the next few games.